The old rescue tug, eh? Hey, the old... Oh, not enough diesel. God damn it. Wait, does this even have rope anchors on it? Oh yeah, it does, okay. Oh, return to workbench. It must have just been too far away to return to workbench from over there. I wonder if this is close enough to just return then. Yay! That's easy. So now what am I at? $98,000. There is a fire. Should I could go do that. It's a bit dark, but let me sleep. Oh my goodness. Lighthouse is on fire on the other side of the world. I think I'd need a helicopter to get over there. Yeah, I want to find this dog. I want to make sure I secure the dog. Yes, dog secured. There was nothing in here. Wonder if you can put the dog on the toilet. Or in the shower? No, okay. On the chair? Okay then, what is the plan? What is the plan? I just had a very goofy idea. Okay, so I'm in a creative world right now because I want to test. I want to do testing. Test. I wonder if the dog is here as well. Does it just always spawn the same dog in the same place? Okay, so you know how I've been working on getting like a starter boat sort of sorted out for a tutorial? I think if you did something like this... Actually, so 2 of these small props is 20,000 and one of these Azzies is 40,000. And the prices, I think these are 75 and these are 150. So the price is not really different at all. So what I think would be better then is to just do 2 Azzies because it's like a better configuration. Okay, so now I've got this thing. This is the back of your boat. I wonder how wide this is though. So now the whole like motor assembly can rotate. And what that should mean, you should never end up with the forces pushing in either direction from the props being turned, because the props should always stay level now. So if you put a tilt sensor in, you want this body to be level, right? So you put a tilt sensor in this. And then that will always be level. So if you took a one, I mean, I need a roll stabilizer, one of these ones. I'll just configure it a bit differently. Yeah, just like that. So off value is not inverted. You can just go negative X, or you can just negative X. We've got a PID, tilt sensor. Yes. This thing, because it's 3 wide, can live below in here, and you'll never see it. You'll never need to know it's there. So now you have the tilt sensor connected to the tilt sensor, and the control surface connected to the pivot, and then you connect that button to a key, and then you leave all that. So this is the bottom of your boat. Let's see where that rib is. Rib. Better tutorial boat. Funny. I just want to make sure the width is similar. Oh, okay. It is. It's very similar. This is... Yeah, okay. So you could just do this, and then I don't think you'd want to have anything really intruding into the central part of it, just because it's going to be rotating around. That's kind of crazy that it's basically the same shape. Doesn't really seem like I've sacrificed any internal space either. Maybe one block? Yeah, one block. And I guess that's just to have the adaptation of the pivot onto here. And I guess the motor sticks out a tiny little bit, which, I mean, if you really wanted to, because I think the props are just way lower, so it would be like if you took the pipe and just routed it like this and then put the ASI back on. All right, if you did that and then you're bringing it back, so now it's not sticking out anymore and it is a bit deeper. Okay, so this is the test. Make sure I've got infinite electricity. I'll turn vehicle damage off. What's happening? I think my tilt sensor is munted. What has happened here? It's trying to tilt too far. Possibly it's just backwards. Yes. That's exactly what I want to happen. It needs tweaking. Needs, you know, properly. Oh, my steering's also inverted. So if you limit that, if you limit the steering, so you can't really get too much of a turn going in the first place, then it would never really need to rotate too much. And this just completely gets rid of all the roll issue, I reckon. There might still be some instances where you're going to roll, like if you're hitting waves too hard. But you can already see, even without tuning, you get a really cool roll effect, like you're leaning into all your corners. And I don't know if it's like some sort of crazy stable system where it just like wants to roll itself back up. It probably does. Like, I wonder if I can get it upside down and see what happens. Okay, we're upside down. So the propellers will want to spin themselves back up. If I can get it back up into the air, yeah, it's just going to be like constantly trying to level itself out. This is so smart. Why has no one done this? As long as you limit your turning radius, which doesn't even seem like you need to do that much, so you could just, you wouldn't clamp it, but you could probably divide the AD input by a lot. Dude, this is so smooth. I can't believe this. Why has no one tried this? Okay, let's tune up the wind. It's a very light boat, so probably not much wind is going to make it fly. It looks like it's ready to fly off the engine, doesn't it? The whole back piece. So you would probably still have like a rudder, a fin rudder on the back for your pitch stabilization. But this system is your roll stabilization. You might want to have some small fins somewhere hidden inside to do some roll stabilizing. But I think generally you wouldn't need it. This is 50% wind, right? I think it would get to a point where it's more likely to just take off into the air than it is to be pushed over by the wind. Dude, I'm so amazed. This just solves all the problems with like ribs trying to roll themselves. And if I make those like end pieces a bit smaller so that the engines can get past it easily, then you'll always end up like the whole engine system will always end up trying to roll the whole thing back over. Which is excellent, because normally with an active stabilization system, what happens is you're relying on like fins and they need to be moving through the air. But with this, you're able to just force all your power into a propeller. Like I'm having some problems here, but it's all backwards. And that whole engine assembly thing, the whole motor assembly on the back, wants to roll you over. And it is a bit more violent because it's on an electric motor, so it's only got like full go and full go the other way. There's no clutch control here. Actually, like, this is just making me dizzy watching it. So I think this is the way to do it, to build your first tutorial starter boat, is to just rotate your whole engine or your whole motor assembly. I wonder if you need this to look like an outboard motor then. Did I have vehicle damage? Yeah. I wonder if you turn real hard, will those props like going through that cause vehicle damage? You can see it's already like, you know, bent and stuff. I mean, I think because the hinges are so, like, bendy, it's more likely to just try and bend around than it is gonna break. All this needs to stay flat on the back, but I think there should be space for a rudder to go like that and then help with your pitch control. And then obviously I can get rid of this. That connects to whatever engine goes in there. And then I'm going to call this rib template. So now I think what I should do is try and get the other rib that I made and transplant some of it onto here. I'm going to go to the bigger dock where I can put them side by side. So, yeah, it is only one block that's been lost on the back. It does make it feel quite a bit smaller though, eh? For some reason. One block, 25 centimeters. I think the seats were really good on this. Or are really good. I really like how they give you that extra storage space below and they kind of are a part of the side walls. So that's coming over. I think the breaker switch is kind of in a dumb place there. The length is the same. Paint these rib walls, the inflatable walls a bit. I think as well, actually, you know how this is, not this one. The current tutorial boat has that piece up the front where it's all solid. And I reckon if you do that, so I don't know how much space you want to sacrifice for that though. Do you want to go all the way? Because the thing I'm thinking about is this adds buoyancy. This is just free buoyancy. And that's probably the main reason to do it. Especially when you think like these boats, they dip down quite a bit in the water. So if you put in a steer, oh, that's so much better. I wonder if steers don't really cost too much. That's probably the best thing you could do. Now, I'm not sure about how to seal up steers like the best way to do it because like, is the side of these steers now sealed or is this going to sink? It is, it's sealed. Wow, okay. Is it? It can't be sealed. This looks like water. Wait, no, it is sealed. You could put people in here. You could put a hatch up the front and have access for something. That's so cool. I like that so much. Okay, like equipment. Where does equipment go? We've got ropes, we've got hoses and cables and stuff. Let me get the actual tutorial boat and just slap it down here as well. It's so much narrower, eh? Like it's just too narrow. Oh, the spotlights. I think the spotlights up the front here is really good. Being able to tilt them as well. That was a really cool feature, I think. I wonder if they should be higher up, further up. Where's a good spot? Here? Yeah, like I don't want them to be doing this where it's like hanging off. That's just goofy. But if they're in front of the rails, that should help a lot more. Because then they won't be like casting shadows through the rails. You could probably get away with one spotlight as well, depending how expensive they are. Ladders. I'm going to try and put the ladders back on. I think that's so important. it'd be really good if we got some more ladders, some different types of ladders maybe. We'll go as bare bones. What do you need for the first couple of missions? I would say you need, oh, come on, defib. A defib, a fire extinguisher, and first aid kits. And probably a welder, but not really. All that other stuff like flares and it's not really useful. Not immediately useful. Do you think I should just leave this as it is? Because I do think it's kind of okay. It's not really that bad. There's deck lights. Let me go over this. Deck lights, navigation lights, engine RPS, engine temperature, battery charge, fuel level, speed. I forget what these buttons do. One of them is spotlights. One of them is reset spotlights. One of these is a reverse indicator. One of them is the locator beacon. One of them turns on the locator beacon and one of them makes the beacon flash. There's a buzzer in the side somewhere. I think it's there. Yeah, buzzer in the side. What else would you need? The only other thing that would be really helpful is a GPS readout. But then you're like asking for a display and it has to be at least a 2-wide display to fit it. If you've got a display, then I would say you don't need the compass on your HUD because you can put your bearing in a much better, you can display your direction, your cardinal direction much more accurately than what the compass ball can. But the only thing is, like, the compass ball is very user-friendly for a beginner, whereas a display, I feel like a display is asking for more, like it's, how do I say this? A display is presenting more opportunity because it's like I can put a map on that, I could put some other numbers on it, I could put some other words, I could fill it up with all this crap and make it look a certain way, whereas the compass ball is like, this is your heading, that's it. So there's this like, yeah, presentation of more opportunity. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing for a new person. If you think about like general game design, when you're a new player, if you're presented with too many options and too many opportunity at the very beginning, you kind of get pulled in every direction and you don't really go anywhere. Anyway, that's how I feel most of the time. I think if you're really just like focused in on this is how you tell your direction, then you know that this is how you tell your direction. Man, that's a long rant about should it put in a compass ball or a display. So we're going to go with compass ball. Boosh. That's literally everything you need. The underwater world is really useful, not necessary to begin with. What else is on here that's not necessary? You get a flashlight. Yeah, like all this other stuff is just good to have after a while. So we can put that in maybe some other hidey cubby spots later on, but I think that's it. That's it. So an engine. I need an engine that can power 2 Azzy props. Do you think it's a good way to introduce players to the weird stuff you can do in Stormworks by showing them that your whole canopy can fold down as your vehicle spawns? Or would they even know? Because if you think about how the tutorial starts, you don't actually see your boat for quite a long time. So what I want to do is just like chop that off. And so I know, yeah, okay. So what I want to do is this. Not this though, I don't want that for it. I want to know exactly how much space I've got, and that's going to be filled in. So I don't know why that modular engine didn't want to work very well. With my ECU anyway. Here's something to consider. A rib is a very light boat and it's going to jump out of the water a lot. So if I do cooling, seawater cooling, then it's likely to not have any access to the seawater. So that is potentially bad. Maybe it would be better to just run it off a radiator and let it be stable. I think we'll go 6 because that is the same length as 2 small prefab engines, and we have to do it this way because the whole top of that's going to be covered, which means when you open that hatch on the back, you're probably only going to see the gearboxes. This is actually the right amount of space for a radiator. You still need pumps for the radiator though, which is kind of dumb. I don't want to put... like this. I think a radiator is a safe bet, you know, because it's definitely going to get airtime. It's going to have to be the small pump, so we'll go in that way, come out that way, and then that leaves just enough space to put the manifolds on, and that links all the cylinders together. And then everything like exhaust and fuel and air need to come off these back pieces, which is fine because we can do a bunch of T's, which actually would work quite well, I suppose. We've got coolant, we've got fuel, we've got air, we've got exhaust, we've got alternators for generating electricity, we've got a starter motor, we've got reverse gear, we've got a 1:3 ratio gearbox for moving. It's a really long engine, eh? All this stuff at the back is actually really, it's packaged very nicely. It looks really cool as well. It's like a little cocoon thing. Boop, boop, boop. Don't go too far back. And that goes directly into the propeller. Man, this lines up so much better than this original idea. This is all just like, this is like someone was just trying to fit an engine into a space and didn't really consider any design options or anything. This is just beautiful though. Wait a minute. Am I just dumb? I'm pretty sure I'm just dumb. I can just go straight up with these manifolds because they're outside of the 3 wide sizing of the hatch. I'm just dumb. Okay, and then I'll run all the way along under the thing. What do you call that? A cockpit? A bridge? There's the old air pipe. And the fuel will have to go for a bit longer, I think. I don't know where the fuel tank's going to end up. Another thing I was considering is like putting a hose anchor on the side, so you would have access to a water hose that can pump seawater. I think that's a much better option than relying on a fire extinguisher, especially when you're doing starting missions on a starter boat in the water. It's just like, it's one less thing to have to try and manage. I think that's a really annoying thing to have to try and manage your fire extinguisher. If I was going to do it, I'd probably put it on the opposite side to the air intake. But it means it would be spending money on another pump. The old tri-pipe. We didn't have that for so long. It makes things so much easier. So 2 tanks. You've got all the basic equipment. This will rotate down. What am I missing? Got an engine, a very lovely engine. We don't have a battery. Probably the small batteries are okay for this, and I'm wondering where to put these. You would probably want access to the battery. You know what though? That is where the battery will go. The thing about this is that you want to be able to repair it, and if it's just like here, it looks like a flaw, but it's a battery. And then maybe I can put the breaker in here as well somewhere. Here? I don't see why not. maybe if I want to do this pivoting thing, I need to remove it so that it doesn't interfere with the breaker. Realistically, like the mast is probably the only thing that's left. I wonder if you paint this piece black and then you know that it can rotate sort of independently. I really want to get in here with paint blocks. Paintable signs cost quite a lot though, so the thing is we shouldn't use them. Ah man, I could do so much nice detailing with paint blocks. I'm gonna do that green and then just say that's it for now. No more paint blocks. If it comes in really cheap, then maybe paint blocks. I probably need to push that forwards a little bit so that when it rotates, it doesn't hit the back of the boat. It needs to come up a bit. I don't know if these pivots are really necessary, and I could just use normal lights and then another normal light. I think the thing about the pivots is like it creates a bit of a change in the texture. I kind of wish it was taller as well though. So extra things that maybe can be added is like the underwater welder. If I do the logic now, actually, you know what? Before I do I should do the logic. I should do the logic so that the engines just work and all the like pitch control and stuff works. Yeah, I'll get it all running and then I can tune the rotating thing on the back. Why is that roll stabilizer not going? Well, there goes the window. Is my tilt sensor upside down again? And now it's tuning on its own. I was so excited about this working. Let's get rid of that and just see how this works. I'm just going to use a red pipe so that I know this is just the temporary. We can use red blocks, fill in the temporary space. I want to know if it pulls to the right even without all that stuff. Oh, what is this? It wants to roll. It just wants to roll anyway. It's definitely related to one of the motors, or one of the propellers being out of the water, so creating less thrust on that side. And then, as the driver, you want to dump that propeller back into the water, so you turn, but then that creates all the force that's like trying to spin you out, going into the other way, or pushing you the way that it's trying to spin you anyway. I would say this is kind of the angle I want to be at. Which here looks like it's 0.01, so something like that. And now we can start tuning this, and first you just kind of want to set the P and get it to stop oscillating. The problem with a totally flat ocean is that there's nothing really to bump us around. It's pretty well balanced for where the weight distribution is anyway to hold that 0.01 tilt without really any issue. The problem is when you give it heaps of juice and you go up, will it try and nose itself back down? So it looks like I'm more likely to roll than anything though. Might go have a look in career actually. We'll go back into career, spawn this boat and see what the cost of things are and do a little bit of a tally and find out how much I can spend on things like paint blocks, if I can put a lot more control fins in there, find some other things, if there's anything I can remove and replace with a cheaper option, like can I replace the RGB lights with normal lights, how much is that going to save? 'So the cost of this, 11,000, that's really good. So let's look at this. A normal light, $20. RGB light, $50. So yeah, normal light's going to go a long way. Spotlight's $20. I'm wondering, do we just go with one spotlight? That's $20. It's $20 you probably don't really need, because that spotlight can turn. I can look over there. Maybe not that far, but just turn your boat, you know? Saving $20. What else? What else can we ditch? Actually, pivot. That pivot, power pivot, $200. Okay, what about a control fin? $50. Is 4 control fins going to give me more maneuverability or roll stabilization than 1 pivot? Fin rudder, $100, 150 through. Oh. I know these solid rocket fuel fins are supposed to be really good, but they're 200 each, and I'm not sure about how to make the logic work very well with them. How much is the underwater welder? 200. What about hatches? See, the sliding hatch is 20 mass but $40, and the hinged hatch is 15 mass but $150. The whole back of the boat was sinking though, so less mass is better than saving money in that situation. Wonder what other kind of doors. Is there any other kind of door? The electric hatch? Huh, wait a minute. Why is the electric hatch way less? How much do instrument panels cost? 200. Do I need all these instrument panels? What's a button cost? 10. I can't get that much stuff on here though. Equipment, $50, but that's like charging your torch, charging your flashlight. You don't want to screw that up. I feel like I've been pretty frugal, you know, with the amount of stuff that's on here. And I don't even know if this fin needs to be here, because what if, actually, how about this? There you go. They can both do pitch control and they can do roll control. That should be good as well for flying through the air when you get chucked out of the water. This whole assembly can come back in a little bit if I get rid of the pivot, which means I can save all the money from through there, through the back of it. $50 for night vision binoculars. I really do like night vision binoculars. I think these are worth it, to be honest, because a lot of the time when you're starting, you don't really get an option of what missions you do. You just need to take all the missions you can, and a lot of them are at nighttime. So if you could put maybe this slot here, actually. So night vision binoculars, $50. Why don't you do that? Do that. You can just take the night vision binoculars out, put them on your hotbar, and put your flashlight in there to charge. They both charge. You're not using them. Yeah, you can manage that. That saves you money. Do we need a big winch or a medium winch? I mean, a medium winch or a small winch? $250. What does that get us, you know? Okay, actually, what does that get you? On a small boat like this, it gets you an output for rope length, and it gets you the ability to send a signal. So if you were using a maggle, or if you had... That's kind of it. I don't know what else you would put on the end of it. But if you're just using this for starting missions, you're probably only towing boats, and a small winch will do the trick because it's only 10 meters of rope of length that you get on it, and you only need it to go in and out. You probably don't even need it to go in and out. You probably don't even need a winch. You probably just need a rope anchor. $15. Wait. Yeah, okay. So if you put on a winch, you need the winch, and then you need the winch, and then you need all the control inputs. So you either need like 4 buttons, or 2 to 3 buttons, or a instrument panel, which is $200. So this is already $300. Just put a rope anchor on it. Why do you need a winch? You don't need a winch. I do want a hatch. I really want a hatch so that you can get in and repair the boat. I do not see that happening though. Actually, how much do wedges cost? $2? $2. Wait a minute. The mass is the same. The cost is the same, but this is what I'm thinking, right? This whole section down the side here is 2 blocks wide. If I use this wedge, it's the same mass, but I'm not having to pay that extra $1 for this block, extra $2. Saving money, right? Because I'm only spending $2. This is right, hey, $2 on a wedge that takes up twice as much space, but has 1 less mass? What? Why would you not do that? I'm starting to not be so confident about that rolling thing, you know? I think the pivot is gonna go, you know? I'm not happy. I really thought I was onto something. I will revisit this, you know? Let's get all this moved though, and see if there's any way I can just stabilize with 2 fins. Okay, so we're getting rid of this 1 fin, and in exchange we will get 2 fins and then combine the roll and pitch stabilization. It should be a lot more buoyant now. There's no electricity. Okay, we'll see if this... Nope, it's all backwards. Wow, what the hell is this? No more roll, only pitch. Does it want to pitch up or down? And I've changed the values heaps anyway, so... Man, something is just wacky about this kind of boat, you know? The fraggin' froggers. Man, as soon as you get one propeller out of the water, you're just screwed. What if one outboard motor is the key to this thing? Whoops, I just resized my screen. If it looks a bit funny now, too bad. Okay, one outboard. All of the rolling problems are basically coming from the second motor wanting to flip the whole thing over. I don't think the pitch stabilizer is working so well. But it's a lot more obvious now that the pitch stabilizer is not working because we can actually like drive the boat. Wow. Wow. They're not moving, are they? Those bloody bastards. Woo! Okay, we're onto something now. With a P of 1, it's fairly stable, but not really how I'd like it. P of 5, P of 10. We want to get really close, I think, to where it starts to oscillate. Where it's doing something but not oscillating. So 40 was too much. I can see it starting with 30, so... yeah, see, that's too much oscillation. What about 25? Okay, so this is where D helps. Not enough D. Yeah, it's stupid. Like, I have such crazy values and it just works. 25 and 100. It's wobbling a little bit. The real test is like when it jumps out of the water. That's what you want. You want it to just kind of level out in the air. So when you hit back in the water, the propeller doesn't suddenly give you a massive like tweak up into a vertical jump. You want it to keep you level and then also fight the propeller when it lands in the water. Yeah, like that, like that, like that. So now if I can get the rolls sorted and then add them together into the control surfaces, Then the stabilization would be complete. Let's get rid of the wind. But you know what? I've had enough of this for now. Wait, what were those values? God damn it. It was like 25 and 70, wasn't it? Good thing I'm recording this and I can just go back and check it. But for now, I'm going to say it's 25 and 70. I think one outboard motor is absolutely the cure for this. When you've got two, it creates that weird like torque to rotate the boat along the whatever axis this would be. Z? Yeah, along Z. No, wait, this is X. What am I talking about? You could actually just like attach the propeller to the back of the boat and put rudders on it. But doing this, it gets you a pretty low boat. This would go on a trailer pretty nicely, which I think is good. If you wanted to have a tutorial boat, you could have a tutorial trailer and a tutorial car, and you could put it all together, and you could have a little tutorial search and rescue vehicle operation thing. But yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.